currently long arming a quilt with the wood grain pantograph from Urban Elements. And this is a great pantograph. However, one downside of this one and pantographs like it is there isn't a distinguishing corner. There's kind of a curve here, but there really isn't a point on the pantograph that I can line up. So it's usually very helpful with my pantographs if I can have a sharp corner or something that I can drop my needle on and then go to the computer and realign it when I've advanced it to the next row. So I've advanced it, now I need to realign it, and I have no distinguishing feature. So what am I gonna do? So I am going to come over here and I can hit the zoom, and I see that plus is where my sew head is, but it hasn't been realigned yet. But there's a line right next to it. Actually, I could go either way, but that one looks a little trickier for me. So I'm gonna try and align my sew head on this vertical grid line. Ignoring the pantograph, I'm just trying to get my sew head to this vertical grid line. I know that I have kept my quilt top fairly straight, and honestly, if it's shifted a millimeter, this pantograph is pretty forgiving. So I'm just going to move my sew head by hand while I'm looking at the screen and try and get it as close to that line as I can. And if I need to, I'll use the nudge tool. But as you can see, it did manage to get pretty close. So now I could engage the lock, but I know I can just pull it straight. I will trust my skill. And I'm just gonna move it vertically until I get to the line. So I'm trying to line it up with my stitch. And I'm not moving it horizontally. I'm staying on that grid line. I could actually check the computer. But I need to get it so that when I drop my needle, I will be on top of the stitches. And so you can see I'm right on top of the stitch. First try. It's not always the first try. It's okay if it doesn't happen on the first try. And I'm still on that vertical line. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is if I zoom in too much, which I need to zoom in to make sure it's accurate, I'm gonna lose my place. I'm not gonna remember where I am. So the trick that I use is I hit this. I'm not really ready to finalize it, but I'm gonna hit snap to point, and I'm just going to estimate it. So I know that I'm on that line, and I'm on the lowest line of my previous pantograph that's drawn out. The red pantograph is already stitched out. So I'm gonna drop a circle there, close to where I need it. Come over here and hit the check mark. Now I'm gonna zoom into that space pretty much as tight as I can go. Oh, there. So I remember that I'm on this line. The red is what is the previous stitch. That's what my sew head is dropped on. So I need to drop my cursor right here where the red and the grid line intersect. And I have found that to do that, I need a mouse. So I'm gonna use my mouse, not my finger, and get my arrow as close to that point as I can. And then click, except I forgot. I'm gonna hit that, snap to point. All it did was zoom, so that's not a big deal. Now I'm actually gonna click. I always feel like I need to take a deep breath. Then hit check. And then I can zoom out full size if I need to, and it's looking pretty good. If I want to double check that I'm right and I'm in the right ballpark or on the right spot, I'll lift my needle and I'll just kind of move horizontally, try and find another spot. So I'm not gonna drop the needle, but you could if you want to just be extra sure. And I can see that, yep, that's where I'm supposed to be. It's still on the red line. So I feel good that my realignment is where it needs to be, and now I can proceed with quilting the next row.